And we are live. Welcome to 2025's first episode of the Best Girls Podcast. And what an episode it is, because today of all days, we got the Nintendo Switch 2
Direct.
Thank you, Ren. I am your host today, Jade Novenus, accompanied by the always wonderful, always amazing host as well. Hosty with the mosty, some may say. The lovely, the beautiful, the always endearing Ren Best Girl. So, we watched the Switch 2 Direct live as it happened. And I don't know about you, Ren, but I had some choice words.
Yes, I'm aware. You had some choice words, choice opinions. And I feel equally as strong, but probably not as vocal about it.
All right. See, that's news to even me, because to me, it seemed like you just didn't give a shit. But anywho, today's podcast, we're going to be kind of cutting through the Switch Direct, kind of going over what they showed off, our feelings now a few hours later, and kind of go over, the general vibe, how we're feeling, all that good stuff. How we reacted, maybe if there was a notable reaction when it was first announced. Also, for context, if you guys hear any meowing in the back, Ren and I got a cat. His name is Gustav. We call him Goose. He's a beautiful boy, but he's also kind of stupid. So he might try to sabotage the podcast. Ren likes that one.
He's already tried. He's made his best effort so far.
We started this podcast earlier, and then fucking Goose decided to hit spacebar and stop recording the podcast. We had to start over. So that was fun.
We didn't lose much recording, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
Exactly. So we're fine. We're back. We've returned. But yeah. Hi, Goosey. He's over there prowling. He's watching us. But who's watching him? Neither of us, because we're doing a podcast. Now then.
Whoever watches The Watchmen, probably.
Yeah, that. Sure. That IP. Thank you, Zack Snyder, whatever your fucking name is. Now then, are you ready to begin, Ren?
Yeah.
So the Direct started out with Mario Kart. It revealed the new Mario Kart game. It's fucking Forza Horizon. It's a Mario Kart it's an open world Mario Kart game. And I think it looks really cool. It looks really nice. It pushes the idea of Mario Kart forward a lot. It's very pretty. It's very colorful. It looks like it runs well enough on the Switch 2. How do you feel about it at first? Like, just watching the trailer, how do you feel about it, Ren?
I think it looks really nice. I feel like this would have been a perfect opportunity to refresh more than just one character design.
Yeah.
We've seen that Donkey Kong's received a touch-up. Mario's been chunkified a little bit. I feel like this would have been a great opportunity to kind of softly usher people into a new era of designs for Nintendo characters. And we do see that a tiny bit, but I feel like they could have pushed it more.
Yeah. I don't hate the new art style. I think Donkey Kong looks really weird. I like that it's open world. I like the idea that there's like power-ups based on where you are on the map, and we'll have to see how the maps play. Because one of the major complaints that games like this, like your Forza Horizons, like your Lego Racers that came out recently, is that a lot of the tracks end up being, oh, we're going to take this section of the open world and make it into a racetrack. And those end up being less interesting than something that would have been handcrafted for a racetrack, if you get what I mean, right, Ren?
Yeah.
That is my worry for it. We'll see. But this is where we get to the bad part that made me so goddamn mad that I haven't shut up about it all day. Take it away, Ren.
The pricing of this game, as well as all Switch 2 games, is really stupid.
I would go as far as to say is that it's unacceptable. People are going to try to defend it like, oh, inflation, oh, tariffs, oh, any of these things.
Except it's approximately the same price outside of this country in its own home origin country.
Oh, so there are some countries where it's even more expensive. Like, I know Canada, the game's going to be like $110. But for context, they announced the price for this Mario Kart World for the Nintendo Switch 2. And it's going to be 80 big ones. $80. The most expensive AAA game ever made currently. As long as you're not excluding special editions and shenanigans, this is the
base price.
The base price digitally. Because from what we've heard, the physical versions for Switch games are going to be more expensive than the digital ones from now on. Which means the digital version will be $70, $80. But then if you want to go get a cartridge and have it physically, well, that's going to be $90.
Gotta love pushing games in the games as a service. You don't get to own games. You get to just borrow them. You can only download them so long as the servers are up.
Mm-hmm. And Nintendo's had a wonderful track record with that, haven't they? Right before me and Ren started recording, we were playing fucking Kid Icarus Uprising multiplayer through the fucking third-party Pretendo network. You know, because Nintendo shut down the servers. I think, and this is going to be a trend throughout most of this direct, I think Nintendo is in their flop era. I think this is very reminiscent to when they made the 3DS and they first released the 3DS. And I think it's very, very similar to when Sony announced the PS3. When Sony announced the PS3, they were on top of the world. They had two of the best-selling video game consoles ever made in the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2. They thought they were top of the world, that they could do no wrong. So they came out on that fucking E3 stage and under no uncertain terms said, you guys are going to take out a mortgage for a PlayStation 3 at $699.99 plus tax in 2008. Nintendo is doing the exact same thing now, and there's absolutely no excuse for it. Much of the world is going into a recession. There is no reason in all hell that the prices for games should be this high. And the worst part is, at least for me, is it sets a precedent. Mario Kart World is going to be one of the best-selling games on this console. Almost guaranteed, unless people actually grow a backbone and decide not to buy it. Almost undoubtedly, this is going to be the best-selling game on the system. Just like how the fucking Mario Kart 8 was the best-selling game on the Wii or on the Switch. And that's going to cause a precedent. Oh, if Nintendo can do it, why can't Grand Theft Auto 6? Why can't The Witcher 4? Why can't Call of Duty? Why can't Zelda? Why can't The Last of Us 3? Why can't The Last of Us 2 remake? At that point. That is ultimately my problem here. And again, I know we're going to get comments that are like, oh, well, you should want to support the devs and all this stuff. Anyone who says that does not know how the video games industry works. The developers get their money as they're making the game. Sometimes they'll make a bonus if a game does well enough or hits certain quotas. But once the game is out and people are buying it, they're not getting paid anymore. At all. All of that extra money just goes straight into fucking Nintendo's pockets. Anyway, moving on from that little rant, because we'll get to the Switch 2 pricing. But, in short, my feelings are this is a bad precedent. I really hope this doesn't sell, but I know it will anyway. I think this is bad for the industry. I think this is bad for games in general. And we also can't forget that this game is very likely going to be a live service. This is going to be a game that's going to get microtransactions more than likely, or at the very least, paid for tracks, paid for expansions, paid for characters. This is not going to be a, oh, well, I'm paying $90, so I'm never going to have to pay money for this again. It's a full, complete package. I'm going to get everything for free. No. In no fucking world is Nintendo going to let you pay this and then not charge you again for arena maps or new features or new updates or new characters or tracks. No way in hell.
It already worked well for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
And that was a fucking remake of a Wii U game. And again, we'll get to the other parts. This was just Mario Kart. So, after Mario Kart, they started showing off.
Bonjour.
What?
Look at some new experiences it offers.
Why is it in French? Why are the subtitles in French?
Bonjour.
Bonjour. All right, so the next thing that they showed off was this.
I'm still ahead of all of you guys.
It's almost comedic.
That was you.
It's almost comedic how hilariously bad this looks.
Wait, no.
It's like, oh, look. They added Discord, but not Discord to the Switch.
Introducing Game Chat, a new feature for Nintendo Switch
A new
2.
feature for Nintendo Switch 2. Too bad it's an old feature for literally every other console ever made and PC.
You'll be able to communicate
Discord has been around for what?
playing a
10
game.
years at this point? 10 years? 8 to 10, something like that?
10.
Yeah. Discord's been around for 10 years. Before that, there was Skype.
Your voice is
Before that, there was
recognized by built
fucking
into the system.
Steam chat. On consoles, the Xbox 360 had fucking party chats in 2006. Nintendo is selling this as like, this is some new cool seller feature that you're going to be able to voice chat
Letting you chat
with your friends on your system. That is revolutionary right there, isn't it, Ren?
You can use this
You're gonna
feature
be able
in
to
Handheld
see
mode too.
who is
Easily
chatting.
chat with friends and family.
Yes, so let's skip up to that part.
If you open
They're
the
adding
chat
a
menu
camera
and
feature.
turn on game
Also,
screen sharing,
before we skip to that, look at this shit. This is in their video selling this.
Did you see someone just
That you can share screen like in Discord
can do it?
at like 5 frames a second. They're proud of this.
Oh shoot! Oh, he's trying to eat me.
Okay, I got it.
Do you see the problem here? And mind you, they're going to bring it up later, but we're skipping through stuff where we can.
chat to your heart's content. Even while playing different games.
This is exclusive to online. You have to pay their online price to use this. Not even Sony does that. And Sony's the fucking worst.
Okay, we got it. We're safe.
Kirby, look, you're in a star.
Not even Discord does it. And Discord's becoming the worst.
You can adjust the size of your game screen.
It's just like, it's so baffling to me, right, Ren? Like, you understand too, right?
Or expand another friend's game screen.
Hell yeah. Look at that bit rate. Look at that frame rate.
Not to mention, it looks like it caps out at 4 to 5 players.
A little wall ride.
Well, you'll never need more players than that on Nintendo Switch 2.
Aren't Splatoon parties like 6 people?
Ooh,
Or
Oh, nice.
Let's take a picture here.
Okay, are you ready?
What about any other multiplayer game on the system? What about Civilization 6 that they're going to be showing off later tonight? What about
seat button.
any other multiplayer game on the Switch that would require... What about Smash Brothers?
Call coming right now, so
Does that mean you're just going to have to exclude all your friends if you're playing like
Here,
8-player
you can
Smash?
quickly and easily mute yourself.
8-player
and
Smash
walk.
isn't even online.
And there's this.
You know what I mean.
By connecting this camera to the system.
Also, this part,
Hey.
I hate this. I hate this camera so much.
I can't believe
Hi, how's everyone?
I can't believe they have Zoom call technology on the Nintendo
And video
Switch.
chat while playing a game.
Everyone just got done and sick and tired of being in fucking Zoom calls. And now we're fucking selling that back to you as a fucking sellable feature on a new console. This is insane. This kind of shit has been available in systems since like the PS4. Which, for context, the PS4 came out almost 15 years ago.
Did not come out almost 15 years ago. It came out a little over
Even when
10.
you're apart, you
The-
can play
the
games and hang out
PS4?
as if you were together in
The
same
PS4
room.
came out when you and
Play
me were in
together
high school.
Or compete in online multiplayer
It
games.
came out in like 2013, 2014.
Chat while playing your personal favorites.
And it's 2016, so it's been almost 12
Set your
years
own
then.
rules for a retro game competition. Or hold a sports competition between
What I'm
families.
saying is, they're trying to sell this as like
All
some
together,
crazy new awesome
anytime,
feature
Anywhere.
that
Game
consoles
chat.
have had for the last 10 plus years.
What did you think?
What did I
In
think?
developing Game Chat, our goal was for you to enjoy playing
We took
online
one
with
look at
others more
Zoom
closely.
and knew that we just had to incorporate into Nintendo Switch
Almost as
2.
if you're all playing together.
And then they go on to show that, hey guys,
Supports
we're gonna
online
bring
play
back
with other Switch
fucking
2 systems,
DS
and
download
you can
play.
use it with
Do you guys
friends in
remember
games,
DS
which we showed
download
earlier.
play?
I
Game
think
share
that's
only
kind of
be used with
cool.
downloadable games.
I
This
think that's
feature is
fine. I
fine for
think it's gonna
several
make.
titles, starting with the
I
free
think there's gonna
update
be
Clubhouse
problems.
Games 51
Oh,
Worldwide
absolutely.
Classics on
I think
Nintendo
it's gonna be fine. I think there's gonna be weird
Game share
problems
support
with their
is also
DRM.
for
I think
select
there's gonna be
games
weird
exclusive to
problems
Nintendo Switch
with
2,
the
so we
stupid
hope you'll look
Nintendo
forward
Switch
to it.
game card bullshit that they're trying to do. I think there's also going to be problems inherently in the fact that you can only do it by paying a fucking membership.
Please take a look.
I think the console itself is incredibly fine. I think it's fine. It looks pretty.
7.9 inches, Switch 2 has
It
a
sure
bigger built-in
does look
screen.
like
Here's how that
Nintendo
compares to
Switch.
They're
Nintendo
just trying to sell that the
system's
system, the
thickness
console's
remains the same.
screen is a 120 hertz fucking 1080p
With
display.
approximately double the
And it's
pixels
like,
compared to Switch,
oh
you
yes,
can enjoy games
I
in
love
great
how my
detail
Switch
on the
games will be able to
1080p screen.
I love how my Switch games will be able to play at 120 frames a second with DLSS enabled.
The screen supports up
At
to
lowest
120
settings.
frames per second, allowing for
I
smooth
can't
gameplay
wait
and supported
to
titles.
pay Nintendo the $20 so that way I can play my existing
The LCD
games
screen is more vivid and supports HDR, providing more
under
contrast between
DLSS.
light
I
and
love
dark
that. That's my
areas of the
favorite.
images.
Look at that. Look at that. Just beautiful.
The all-new Joy-Con 2 controller, the USB-C port found on the
The
bottom of
USB-C
system
port being on the
is
top
on
and bottom?
top as
Cool.
well.
I think the system itself is inherently well designed on a technical
You
aspect.
just saw Welcome Tour,
All right.
exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2.
Next up is Welcome Tour.
I'm standing over here. Okay, everyone, join me inside the game.
So this is a glorified tech
There are a
demo
lot of question mark icons here. Let's
that they're
examine them.
charging $10 for.
This sign reads, "Where are the magnets?" The Joy-Con 2 controllers attached to the system.
Where
have
are the magnets, babe? Do
and those
you care where
magnets
the
inside
magnets
the
are?
system. The SL and SR
Damn,
buttons
babe,
of the
this is
Joy-Con 2 are made
informative.
of metal,
I didn't know magnets
so that's how they
existed.
attach to the system. A magnetic circuit is formed between them, so they won't easily
You
detach.
can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Sony is charging
Through
for
examining
this.
signs like these, you can discover all sorts of
A
secrets about
a
Nintendo Switch 2.
game in quotations that
Another
they're
example,
charging
the
for.
Joy-Con 2 controllers have mouse controls.
Sony's charging for this? Damn, I didn't know they had
Nintendo,
a.
sorry.
Even do something like
Sony was my next point. Meanwhile, both Valve and Sony, Sony again, is the worst. Are like, I hate Sony. Sony is the worst. They make bad games for bad people who are bad. At the least, they made a pretty good tech demo and bundled it in with every goddamn console sold.
There are plenty.
Astro's Playroom was pretty alright. And it was free.
On the same day as Nintendo Switch 2.
Fucking Aperture Desk Job, fucking great. Wonderful. Love that thing. Free with every Steam Deck. This is unacceptable.
It's the same L and G.
Now they're showing off the Pro Controller. $90, I might add. They're charging $90 for the shit.
$90 for a game chat button, a headphone jack, and grip buttons.
Uh-huh.
Games are the third type.
Nintendo Switch 2 edition games.
Some games
All
that were
right.
released on Switch will receive
This is the
upgraded
part that
versions
boils
allow
my
users to
blood.
improve visuals, unique
This
ways
is
to
the
play
part
on
that
Switch
I was
2
mad.
and
Like we were watching this,
Now,
and I was
I'd like
already
to show you
mad.
the Nintendo
This
Switch 2
this
edition
sent me
of
over the
Super Mario
fucking
Party
edge.
Jamboree. Please take a look.
So in order for your games to run better and look better on the Switch 2,
Super Mario Party Jamboree is
some
getting
of
an
them
upgrade on Nintendo
will have
Switch
free
2.
updates. They've already confirmed that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is getting a free update that upgrades the game's frame rate and resolution.
Mouse controls,
Awesome. Meanwhile,
audio
for everything else,
up next,
they're charging upwards of $20 or more
when you
to be able
enter
to play
home,
your games on the
a
Switch
minigame
2
will
with
begin.
the added performance.
There's a bouldering game where
And it's
you
like, yeah,
use
some of
your
these,
control and arm.
they add new content. Like,
One where you
sure,
shake a
new
canvas
Mario
quickly
Party
with
minigames,
protect
whatever.
objects.
Nintendo Switch 2 editions of The Legend of Zelda
But Breath of the Wild and
Wild
Tears of the
and
Kingdom are
Legend of
literally
Zelda
getting
Tears of
nothing
the
new
Kingdom
aside from a frame rate and
feature
FPS
enhanced
buff
resolution and frame rates.
or frame rate
And
and
also
resolution
support
bump.
HDR, which makes the image more vibrant. So you can play with smoother,
That-
higher
that's
definition
it.
graphics.
$20, please.
Plus, you can get even more out of your adventures
I
in
want-
Hyrule using Zelda Notes.
I would be
This
remiss
new
to
feature
not
can be
bring up
accessed via the Nintendo Switch
emulation
app
here,
on
right?
smart devices.
Through emulation,
It's a
we
game-specific
can learn
service that's exclusive
how
to
these
the
games
Switch 2
operate,
edition
how
Steam
the
site.
game's settings and
For
all of that
example,
are
it can help
situated
guide
on the
you to
system,
various
right?
locations,
I'm not talking about
trying to
pirating. I'm
figure
not
out
talking
how
about
to
even
found it.
playing the games through emulators. I'm saying learning how the games were made, right? These changes here
Or
of
you can share
being
your
able
creations
to,
with
oh, the game
QR
looks and runs
codes
better,
send them to another player to
is
create
like
in
an
their game.
8 kilobyte file. It's a config file that just changes some settings, and now the game runs better under the new
These
hardware.
features will make your
It's
adventures
literally
even
the
more
same way
enjoyable.
99% of PC games work. Or PS5 games, PS4 running on PS5.
In Kirby and the
It's
Forgotten
as simple
Land,
as
you'll be able to enjoy an additional story exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 edition. along with
imagine
improved graphics and frame
if
rates.
you were on PC and every time you upgraded your graphics card, you had to pay like $30 for every single one of your games to make them run better on your new graphics card. Do you realize how fucking absurd, insane, and dystopian that sounds? Like, you agree with me in that, right, Ren?
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're selling you right now. They're just putting a funny little Nintendo spin on it. These games aren't even fucking out yet. And they have the audacity to charge you for the upgrades. Metroid Prime, and they're going to show fucking Legends ZA in a second. They have the fucking balls, the audacity to be like, hey, these games you're looking forward to, that you were expecting to only pay like $60, maybe $70 for. Well, you're actually going to have to pay $80 and $90 instead if you want the best version of them.
Based on your preference and playstyle.
Why even have two separate... Why even have two separate fucking...
Will not only receive a Nintendo Switch version, but a Nintendo Switch 2 edition
The Xbox.
as well.
The Xbox Series X.
By taking advantage of the power
Every
of
game
Switch
you
2,
put into the Xbox
you
Series
can
X,
enjoy your adventure in
free
Yugioh
upgrade.
City with
Every
enhanced
single one.
resolution and frame rates.
If I put in a fucking PS4 copy of... Or an Xbox One copy of fucking Titanfall 2, boom, better frame rate, better resolution. If I downloaded the Xbox 360 version of Red Dead Redemption 1, boom, better frame rate, better resolution. Totally for free.
We hope you're looking forward to
These
the Nintendo
hacks,
Switch 2
these
edition game.
fucks from Sony and Nintendo trying to standardize this bullshit is absolutely unacceptable and should be laughed out of the fucking room.
Please take a look.
This is unfucking acceptable that they're charging just to get better looking games. Sure, they want to sell the extra DLC, like, oh, well, we're going to do an expansion to Kirby with new levels, and oh, we're going to do an expansion to fucking Mario Party with new minigames. Fine, charge that, whatever. Work was put in to actually change that. But the audacity to say, $30, please, to play fucking Tears of the Kingdom, which, mind you, was already a $70 game. $30, please, to play the game at a higher frame rate is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Do you have any words to say on this, Ren?
On the whole upgrade stuff.
Yes. I know Wheelchair Rocket League is going on right now in the background, and we'll get to that. But is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think dystopian is the apt word that you used.
Yes. Like,
In Drag and Drive, you'll use both Joy-Con 2 controllers as mice.
to me,
intuitively
it
pull
just
off various
feels
moves.
so dystopian.
We
It
hope you're looking
it
forward to
makes
new
me
twists,
like
3-on-3 matches
video
using
games
dual mouse
less.
controls.
It makes me
Next, here are some
feel
games from our
like
publishing and development partners coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
it makes me feel like I'm witnessing the end of the thing that I love.
This world is in dire need of repair. You can see them, can't you?
How do I put this?
That guide you through your burden.
It's like if you bought a brand new car and you kept the tires of your old car because
No doubt,
those tires are brand new and they're still good. But the car told you, hey,
may you take the throne.
we can't use these tires as efficiently because you haven't bought the tire upgrade.
That's actually a great point. It's literally HP printer bullshit. It is literally the HPification of video games. It's the, oh, this cartridge isn't official. Fuck you. Spend $90 on our Monopoly in order to fucking print your paper. It's the, oh shit, you're out of magenta. Can't print in black and white anymore. Fuck you. It's the enshittification of video games, and I think that's the only way you can genuinely put it at this point. It is the inshitification of one of my favorite things. And it just genuinely hurts. Do you have anything else to say on the matter, Ren?
The video games industry makes me sad.
The video games industry gives me Fox Day. I'm just gonna play like Monster Hunter 4 the rest of my life or something. Like, fuck modern video games at this point.
Oh, what's that one Smash player? Video games make me wanna enact that low tier god quote.
All I gotta say, and Ren put it very succinctly earlier today, fucking Iwata is rolling in his grave right now. Like, if I had artistic ability, I had an idea for a comic earlier that I was just gonna be like, it was just gonna be a comic of like Iwata screaming, banging on his fucking coffin, whereas the modern Nintendo CEOs are just chaining his fucking coffin together. Just Anyway, Wheelchair Rocket League. Do you have any strong feelings about that?
It certainly is a choice to. It certainly is a choice to.
In Drag and Drive, you'll use both Joy-Con 2 controllers as mice to intuitively.
This is
pull
like a
off various
dual-edged sword.
We hope you're looking forward to a new
On
twist
one hand,
3-on-3
cool,
matches
it's
using
neat.
dual mouse controls.
They're trying to do like disability
Next, here are some games
empowerment,
publishing
but on the
and
other
developing
hand,
partners coming to Nintendo Switch 2.
it feels like they're just trying to turn it into almost a joke, almost a thing of play. Oh yes, real life severe disabilities. Yeah, let's make a game out of that. That's just something so light and topical that we can just. It's quirky.
Yeah, it kind of feels insensitive
deaf.
and tone deaf in that way. It feels very like, especially how goofy the trailer came off, and like how like, oh, we're using the stupid game mouse mode to like emulate like grabbing the wheels of the wheelchair and pulling him back, and it's like, this feels icky. Anyway, Elden Ring looks like shit on the Switch 2. Who would have guessed? Hades 2. I don't know why they're making it exclusive to the Switch 2.
They're not making it exclusive to Switch 2. They're just showcasing it on Switch 2. Because it's still coming out on other consoles. I just don't think it's coming out to Switch 1 like Hades 1 did.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think there's any. I've played Hades 2. I own it on PC. I don't think there's a single thing in this game that makes it not be like. You get what I'm trying to say, right? I don't think there's anything in Hades 2 that makes it unable to run on a Switch 1. I think them making it a Switch 2 game rather than a Switch 1 with Switch 2 support game.
It's something to try to incentivize people to. It's games to fill up a library for a console that doesn't have a library going in.
But babe, it does. Think of all the games you can buy, all the upgrades you can buy for your existing games. It's like getting brand new games, babe.
No.
But you don't want to spend $40 to play Breath of the Wild again?
No.
You don't want to spend $30 to play Tears of the Kingdom with an AI fucking telling you where to go?
If I want to play Breath of the Wild again, if I want to play Tears of the Kingdom again, if I want to touch that world again, it's certainly not through a $30 $20 to $30 60 FPS update. No, not update. Paywall.
Yeah, thank you. That's the term. They're not, oh, they're giving you the opportunity to play this game at a better resolution frame rate. No, they're paywalling the ability to do something that, from the nature of the way video games are made, is already an option. I can go into a fucking Switch emulator right now, click 2 buttons, and Breath of the Wild now runs at 4K 60 FPS or better. 2 buttons.
And supports mods, don't forget that.
And supports mods. And hell, I could probably mod that stupid mobile app to work on the fucking emulator. This is the shit Nintendo doesn't want you to know. This is the type of shit that Nintendo is so adamant about. Oh, emulation is illegal. No, it's not. Piracy is illegal. But playing the games you already own on hardware that Nintendo didn't make so you can make them the best they can be is not illegal and honestly should be promoted more. Why the fuck should I spend upwards of $100 for Tears of the Kingdom and the Tears of the Kingdom upgrade on Switch 2 to do what I can already do with my existing copy of Tears of the Kingdom on my PC or my Steam Deck? We're going to get to the whole Steam Deck thing later once we start talking about like the price of the console and everything. But yeah, moving on. Street Fighter, do you care, babe?
It sure is Street Fighter 6 on Nintendo Switch 2.
And it looks really bad.
It sure is a PS5 game running on
the Wii U hardware.
Based PS4 hardware.
The amiibos are cool though. I like the amiibos.
I like how bright and colorful the amiibos are.
And we're getting amiibo cards, not just the amiibo figures. We're getting amiibo cards for every single character, and then we're getting the 3 amiibo for the 3 characters.
I think it's neat that somebody still cares about amiibo post Smash Ultimate.
Yeah. I want more Monster Hunter amiibo. That's what I want. The Malzeno one is my favorite. I love that fucking thing. All right. Next game. Finally, something I fucking can get behind. Too bad I'm not going to play it on the Switch 2. I'm going to play it on PC when it comes to PC. This is Daemon X Machina 2. Daemon X Machina was made by a bunch of ex-FromSoft Armored Core devs. Daemon X Machina 1 is fantastic, and you should fucking play it, especially if you liked Armored Core 6. This is just Armored Core, but even more fucking anime bullshit, and it's great. This second one is oddly, rather than full-on giant mechs, it's fucking like Iron Man suits, which is fine. I'll accept it. We don't really get games with fucking Iron Man suits anymore. And it does look like there are some mechs. Like, that fucking Transformer was not a god... That Transformer right there that we see here, that was not a fucking bodysuit. That was a full-on mech. So we're probably still going to see the mechs. They may not be playable, but they're still going to be there. I'm really excited for this game. This game looks great. I want to play it on PC. It's really nice to see that they're giving that game franchise another shot. Split Fiction. I already have it on PC. Me and Ren are currently playing it. It's pretty alright so far. We got turned into hot dogs, and that was pretty funny.
Let me tell you this. If you like It Takes Two, you're gonna love this one. Trust me.
Nobody gives a shit about EA Sports. Fuck you. Madden sucks. Hogwarts Legacy sucks. Bad game for bad people. Tony Hawk games. Who'd have guessed? Random fucking girl wasn't interested in fucking skateboarding. Interesting.
Hey. Roses are red. Violets are blue. Tony Hawk on Nintendo Switch 2.
Moving on.
Hello, this is
Fuck
Christian
this guy.
Alvarez
I
from
hate his
Ion
guts.
Assassination to Nintendo Switch 2.
Hitman World of Assassination can fuck off. They do a bunch of really scummy business practices, especially on Steam. They can fuck right off. I don't care about their games. I don't care that they're making a 007 game. They can fuck off.
Never fades. It's reborn.
It's... I have mixed feelings on this.
On Bravely Default?
Yeah, it's... On one hand, it's nice to see Bravely Default again. Never beat the game, but I got... What I did play, I really enjoyed. And it looks like the 3DS models were enhanced. However, it looks like the terrains and stuff were all just run through a fucking upscaler, which feels bad.
I liked Bravely Default enough of what I got to play of it. I might just download it on my 3DS and play it there. Yakuza 0. When did this game originally come out?
It came out in 2015 or 16 on the PS4. No, it came out on the PS3.
Yeah. So, this 10-year-old Yakuza game finally on this new fancy Nintendo Switch 2 that you're going to be paying almost $500 for, mind you. You get the pleasure of paying $500 to play a game that can run on literal toasters.
To show a game being developed in collaboration with Nintendo. Please take a look.
All right. This is the one that me and Ren were just like, fuck off.
This is...
When the Zona, who descended from the heavens, joined
Ren, I want you to take this away, please. I want to hear everything you possibly could say about this.
But in time, a terrible evil arose.
I love Breath of the Wild. I think it is a pretty good game. It's not a perfect game. Tears of the Kingdom is a much more flawed game, which had some goofy features in it that made up for kind of how much shallower it was in comparison to the first game. I played through Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
So that's
at 2 FPS.
And it was a very rough experience. I enjoyed it well enough despite its massive hiccups in performance. But by the time I got to the end, it was such a fucking slog. At least I have experienced the Breath of the Wild world 3 fucking times now, and they're trying to sell it for a 4th time. They're trying to sell it for a 4th time with a cast of characters that are literally faceless. Characters I literally cannot care about because they show up in the story for 2 minutes a pop and say the exact same dialogue each time. They may as well just be cardboard cutouts of the Gorons, of the cardboard cutouts of the Gorons, cardboard cutouts of the Rito, the Zoras, the Gerudo. I can't wait to play as them and have them be so bland and flavorless and probably just play exactly like the characters in the first Age of Calamity game.
To be fair, that's an issue with all of the Warriors games. Once you've played like 1 or 2 of them, you realize every single one of the characters in every single one of those games play almost identically to at least 1 or 2 other characters. Like, I'm sure Zelda, like, you see her fighting in that trailer, she's just gonna play as, like, Link. She's gonna have a sword and she's gonna swing it around. She's gonna do big AoE attacks. There you go.
The problem isn't. Yes, I'm sure there is a lot of overlap. You can only think of n different ways to swing a sword, n different ways to thrust a spear. That's fine. But the setting, the characters, those little things, the flourishes that they perform help really sell and make the game what it is. When the setting is the same world that I've experienced 3 times, I want to say over 1,000 hours in Breath of the Wild between the 3 separate playthroughs I played of that game alongside Age of Calamity and Tears of the Kingdom. I'm over it. I don't want to see the Breath of the Wild world ever again.
I was so sick of the Breath of the Wild world that I couldn't even make it through Tears.
With characters that are non-existent. Oh, Gerudo Ancestor Lady. What's her whole shtick? She didn't have one.
Like the most
she fought Ganon and lost.
The most character that any of the fucking those people have is like, oh, the one guy's gonna have Ultra Hand, the guy voiced by fucking, what is it, Ray Chase or something. He's gonna fucking have Ultra Hand, and the one girl's gonna have a mech. And that's it.
Rauru and Mineru, yeah. But I was talking... No, you were the one who said it. It just feels so creatively bankrupt. It feels like an obligation rather than a passion.
Like, imagine if they did a Hyrule Warriors 2 based on the original one, where it's like, oh, let's have do the Fire Emblem Warriors thing, the first Fire Emblem Warriors thing, of just, here's all these Zelda characters, because the original Hyrule Warriors was like kind of their own story, and then like the DLC characters were just pulled straight from fucking existing Zelda games. What if they just did the Fire Emblem Warriors thing of just like, oh, the dimensions are crossed over, and now it's like fucking Toon Link and Breath of the Wild Link and fucking Wind Waker, fucking Spirit Tracks robot armor Ghost Zelda, and fucking the rabbit from Link Between Worlds, and Hilda, and fucking the old man from Zelda 1, and like do like a huge crossover event of all of like these different variations of characters. Fucking OG fucking Pig Ganon versus Midna versus fucking Ocarina of Time Ganondorf versus fucking Skull Kid with the moon. And imagine how much more interesting something like that would be, rather than it's the fucking that background story nobody cared about from Tears is now getting fleshed out.
I would honestly rather they do I'd rather they do a Fire Emblem 3 Hopes situation where Nintendo gave them the rights to make a brand new Zelda game, and they developed it, 1, as its own game, but 2, specifically having a Hyrule Warriors in mind, where they could reuse the maps, reuse the assets, and cut down the development costs of making a brand new Warriors game.
Yeah, that could be very neat as well. But what can you do? Zelda sells. Zelda's part of the problem.
Warriors Age of Imprisonment.
Zelda sells out.
It's being developed by Koei Tecmo Games with support from Nintendo.
I'm so, like you said, I'm just so impossibly over Breath of the Wild. If I never have to play Breath of the Wild or see Breath of the Wild or see that world or those characters ever again, it'll be too soon.
You can continue to enjoy Nintendo Switch Online on Switch 2.
Oh boy.
All right, Switch 2 Online. Let's go. Fucking GameCube. I can't wait to play the worst version of Wind Waker.
Through cell shading.
because Wind Waker HD is just never going to get re-released, ever. Good thing I still have my Wii U, because Wind Waker HD is inherently better than the original.
I don't love the lighting in Wind Waker HD.
That can get modded. The reason I like Wind Waker HD more than original Wind Waker is... I mean, the fast sale is nice, but just... There's just a lot more quality of life in it. The game itself is more fun to play without having all of those old, clunky isms that the older version had.
Fair enough.
I understand if people don't like how it looks, but that's something that can very easily be, you throw it in the fucking emulator and there's a texture pack that turns it back into fucking Wind Waker Originals looks while retaining all the quality of life. The quality of life is what I care about most.
Quality of life mods that have also been patched into the GameCube emulated version of the game as well.
I mean, again, very fair, but those aren't here. And that's my problem.
More titles will be added in the future.
Oh, look, XD Guild of Darkness is getting added. I wonder if that's going to have, like, Pokemon home support. Probably not. The new controller's neat. I'm sure there's going to be so many Smash players who are going to buy that just to play Smash on PC.
I genuinely hope this doesn't give Nintendo precedent to kill Dolphin.
Yeah, that's a #1 thing to think of. I don't think it ultimately will, because I was talking to you about it the other day. The reason Nintendo goes after some of these emulators... All right.
Hang on.
We'll get to this one. The reason Nintendo goes after specific emulators or stuff like that is specifically because they end up doing something. The reason Nintendo went after Yuzu is because Yuzu was making a ton of money off of their Patreon for exclusive access to new builds and everything. The reason they went after Citra was a very similar situation. Meanwhile, again, I was mentioning this to Ren. Dolphin, every Nintendo fan knows about Dolphin. Everyone. And Nintendo confirms they know about Dolphin. Nintendo has known about Dolphin for years. Dolphin was trying to get onto the Steam store, and Nintendo shut that shit down. Nintendo knows they exist, but they choose not to do anything. Because Dolphin isn't making money off of it, or at least not a ton of money off of it. They're not they're not promoting source code. They're not promoting where to get games or anything of the sort. It exists as its own piece of software that if you want to do something with it, go ahead. And that's the reason I believe that is why it still exists. It's why it hasn't been shut down like Yuzu. And that's why I don't think it will. And even if it does, fucking Yuzu still exists. People are still updating Yuzu. Like, just because the original dev team don't work on it, that's what the fucking, I forget what they're called. The mirrors on fucking GitHub are for. Like, there's still people making Citra. There's still people making Yuzu. It's just the original devs on it got cease and desisted. So even if Nintendo does try to shut down Dolphin, everyone's already got fucking Dolphin downloaded, and it's not like they're releasing new GameCube games anytime soon. So Dolphin already works for 99% of GameCube games anyway. So even if they shut down Dolphin, everyone just downloads or has Dolphin already. That doesn't change anything. Sure, it's not great for people getting into the emulation scene, but like, it doesn't ultimately change anything.
Let's not forget the fact that same problem with all the other attempts that Nintendo has made to have retro game libraries. It's never been about game preservation. It's always about perpetuating the cherry-picked examples that they deem worthy of succeeding to the next generation.
100%.
Nowhere in the Nintendo... there's no chance in hell in the Nintendo lineup are we gonna get fucking, I don't know, Adventure Island for GameCube. Nowhere are we gonna get shitty shovelware game preservation. Not that they deserve preservation, but
Like, you don't see them putting up
Ninja.
Dragon Quest Swordsman. I'm sure none of you guys remember that game even fucking exists. Like, they're not putting Twin Snakes up there. Like, there are big games that they're just never going to fucking put up there, either because of licensing bullshit or otherwise.
They're not putting up Cubivoir. And you know what? Literally, I think that would be like the only acceptable title is the original Animal Crossing, where they actually fixed it so that way the game can actually proceed past the year 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is hard-coded into the original GameCube version of the game. There's no way in hell they can put that on the Switch and then expect people to only be able to play it for 5 years.
Yep.
I mean, they can, but
Yeah. Gotta love Nintendo.
I want to try to give them some amount of credit, even if it's undeserved.
Yeah. All right. You know what time it is, Ren.
Uh-huh.
Ren and I were screaming at 6 a.m. We were shaking when this trailer happened. And I'm not afraid to admit it. I was crying. I was genuinely crying seeing this trailer. And you know what? I'm going to put the volume up. Ren and I are going to shut up for a second. And we're just going to let this trailer run. Because I think it's imperative that people see this. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful, babe.
Jade and I may have gone a bit stir crazy waiting for the next release of Deltarune.
I think anyone who's played Deltarune was well into the stir crazy phase. Deltarune holds a very special place in my heart. I love Deltarune. It's such a good game. Fucking play it.
If you haven't played it yet,
what's
wrong with you?
Thank you, Reggie. Just every part of this trailer is just, it's perfect. Like we got to see the new stuff. Like, this 1000% takes place in the church in chapter 4. Like, Ren pointed that out. Like, we have like the Deltarune panels here. Like, obviously you have fucking what we assume is Tenna here. Like, oh, good God. I can't wait. I hope everyone realizes that, like, if I do end up coming back to streaming before this comes out, I'm going to go radio silent for like 2 weeks while I just play through all of this. Like, this is a... You guys saw how much hatred and vitriol I had for the video game industry this like first half of this podcast. This gives me hope. And then Nintendo took it away after the stream came out, but that's besides the point. I'm not playing this on Steam or on Nintendo Switch. Fuck Nintendo Switch. I'm playing this on Steam like a good girl. Just it's so perfect, honey. It's just so perfect. Just there's Quiz, there's Suze. Interesting that Ralsei comes from that angle rather than left and right. Interesting. God damn it, my theorist's brain is already trying to piece together what the fuck is going on here. I need this. I fucking inject Deltarune right into my veins, Toby Fox, please. Please.
Hi, I'm Randy.
And we have a pedophile on screen. Let's get that away. Nobody cares about Borderlands anymore. Borderlands is a dead franchise.
We're releasing an
Civilization 7 sucks and is bad and goodbye. I don't care about wrestling or basketball. We're just speeding through this shit. This game looks bad.
It would have been nice if the stream didn't freeze on this game as well.
Yeah. Still bad. Gungeon 2.
Here's the first look at Enter the Gungeon 2. Dodge countless bullets and aim for the Gungeon's depths in our roguelike shooter sequel. Now reloaded in a new 3D art style. You can expect some fan favorite elements to return.
I don't know if I like the 3D aspect. I feel like it makes it. I feel like it makes the game significantly harder to read, especially as a bullet hell. I don't like it visually, but I am down to give a new Gungeon a shot. Is this that Astroneer or whatever game? See, the stream died for us here, so this is actually the first time me and Ren seeing this trailer. Yeah, this is like this is the Journey to the Savage Planet sequel, isn't it? I think I remember seeing a trailer for this at some point before this. Right?
I have no idea.
I'm like 90% sure this is the Journey to the Savage Planet thing.
Star Seeker, Astroneer Expeditions.
No fucking idea. But it's Devolver, so it's probably good.
Hello, my name is Adam Badowski from CD Projekt Red. We are
cool. I can't wait to play Cyberpunk 2077 at 5 frames a second on the Switch one. Oh, did you see that? DLSS right there. Look at that shit. Look at his hair. See how his hair fucking undulates like that? That's DLSS.
Get ready to meet unforgettable characters.
Oh, hell yeah. I can't wait for all my games to look like dog shit. Cool. Final Fantasy VII Integrate on Switch 2. Whatever. Don't care. Alright, this is the part everyone fucking lost their pants. Kanitsugami, I don't care. Silk Song can fuck off, but I know people care. Story of Seasons is cute, but I'm a Rune Factory girl myself.
This looks
upsetting.
Kind of ugly.
This doesn't look great. The fucking shitty Monster Hunter clone? I heard Witchbrook was pretty good.
Puyo Puyo.
I don't care about Puyo Puyo. Speaking of I'm a Rune Factory girl, I think that game looks bad. I think the new Rune Factory game does not look very good. I don't like the 3D Rune Factory games. I think 4 is where the series peaked. Nobunaga's Ambition. Sure.
Oh my god, Oda Nobunaga.
I can't wait for him to catch his Rayquaza again. This is that Pac-Man Castlevania game, sure. Fucking Mystery of the Soulless Army. I don't care. Sure. Reanimal. This just looks like that one horror game.
Now we're talking Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. Let's go.
Ridge Racer.
This is upsetting.
I don't think I like Professor Layton in 3D.
I think it actually looks okay. I think they look pretty fine. I think when they're not moving like that, I think that's super cute. I think if they have stiff animated onto kind of animation, I think that would look fine. But the fact that they move smoothly is that's fair. I think it's probably going to end up looking a lot like Phoenix Wright, the 3DS games, where it's going to be, oh yeah, they're all in 3D, and they're going to move between stills effectively. They look good, though. I don't hate this as much as you do. I think this looks fine. I don't love the Layton series. I'm a Phoenix Wright girl myself. I like Phoenix Wright, but
I think Layton himself looks fine. I think Luke looks a little off.
Fair. I also like that they just completely did away with what's her face, like Layton's granddaughter or whatever it was. Tamagotchi game looks whatever. This was in the direct the other day. I don't care about these weird physics games that come out.
We've shown a lot of games so far. The next game will be the last from our publishing and development partners.
All right, which one was this one? Oh yeah, this was the Bloodborne but not Bloodborne thing. This looks cool. I like vampires. I don't love FromSoft's I don't like Souls games all that much, but I like vampires. I'll play it if it comes to PC. I won't be buying this on a Switch 2 because, spoiler alert, I'm probably not getting a Switch 2. Unless I can get it A, for cheap, or B, secondhand. I refuse to pay $450 before tax for that shit. It's going to be like $500 plus tax. Plus you have to have the stupid membership in order to take advantage of literally anything. That thing's upsetting. I hate that thing.
Close your eyes.
I don't like its frog titties.
Its frog titties are upsetting. But yeah, this looks neat. I think the name is a little bad, but I think it's neat.
Brand new game by From Software, where the game's available.
And then we have our last game of the night, right?
Second to last.
In addition to what you saw today, our partners are working on many in the.
So this is the one that I've seen everyone say the same thing when this trailer started. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, is it Smash Bros? This looks like a Smash Bros game." No, it just looks like a Masahiro Sakurai game. There's a difference.
He certainly has a certain style to his directions for cinematics.
Yes. But yeah, spoiler alert, this is for Kirby Air Ride 2, or what they're referring to as
Kirby Air Riders.
Yes. How do you feel about this?
I think it's neat that this series, this one-off game, is getting a second chance. However, Nintendo Switch 2 has not exactly sold me on... I'm not sold on Nintendo Switch 2, so the chances of me getting this and being invested in this are kind of null.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem. Like, I like Kirby Air Ride. The original Kirby Air Ride is like one of my only Kirby games that I actually like. I don't know if I want
Kirby Air Ride,
to get this
which
because
originally
I
released on the
don't
Nintendo
want to get a
GameCube
Switch
system over
2.
20 years ago, is getting a brand new game. We hope you're looking forward to Kirby
I'm
Air
glad that
Riders,
Sakurai has another
directed by
chance at
Masahiro Sakurai.
this game. If I remember correctly,
Next
there were some
is our
regrets
last
that he
trailer
had
for today.
with the original
Please take a
one,
look.
things that he wanted to implement or couldn't, yada yada. I'm glad that he has a second chance at it.
Agreed.
And now
for the final one. Ren thought this was Banjo at first, and she got my hype really high. We both thought this was Banjo.
I jokingly said Banjo. In retrospect. Monkey?
I know you like the new Donkey Kong design. I don't like that he has pants. I think his eyes look really weird, and I don't like that he has pants.
It brings it more in line with the original cartoony drawings of Donkey Kong before Rare redesigned him. I'm fine with it. It gives him a chance to be a lot more cartoonily expressive. I think it's fine. That said, I do know he's had an established design for the past 30 years. Past 30 plus years. I understand why others are taking more time to get adjusted to this design.
I just think it looks very... It looks very childish in not like a particularly cute way, but in a very like... How do I put this? You know what this looks like to me in terms of this character design? It looks like, remember in like the 90s, like the late 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, when like a movie or a game would come out and it was like, it would be like an adult movie, like The fucking Fly, or like fucking, you know, it would be like a super serious movie. And then they would make like a kid's cartoon of it. Like they made like, I remember in the 90s, they made the Godzilla show, or the Godzilla movie, like the shitty American Godzilla movie, right? That everyone hated. They made that shitty Godzilla movie, and then they made a cartoon about it, where they made like Godzilla like a hero and shit, but they redesigned him to the point where he was kind of cute. I feel like that's what's happening here. That's the same feeling I get from this DK design. It doesn't feel real to me.
Understandable. As for the game itself, it looks... how do I put this? It looks like Mario Odyssey.
It looks like Mario Odyssey and Knack had a baby.
It looks like it's open worlds with things to collect, but nothing to do.
Yeah. Like,
and the fact that, like, as we're seeing here, there's not really voice acting, there's not really dialogue. The story's going to be told purely through visuals, and with how cartoony this looks, it's going to be the most non-existent story ever. So it's going to have an open world with nothing to do with a story that's non-existent.
Like a Kirby story.
Here's the thing. Kirby actually Kirby has a lot of lore, actually.
Uh-huh.
That was a brand new 3D platforming action game.
Kirby is at least fun. The gameplay is fun. I know it's not your preferred game of choice, but Kirby games are, at the very least, some fun. You good?
Yeah. I'm just letting you do your thing, by all means.
Distracted.
I'm sorry Deltarune distracts you so.
But it feels... I actually can't.
I'll turn the audio off. There.
I actually can't.
Fine, I'll pause it. There you go. You can stare at Tenna the whole time. Continue.
Wonderful. I just feel like Kirby has lore if you actually look for it. Donkey Kong has never been a story game. It's very, very shallow in terms of that. Not that Nintendo games are deep. Unless they're made by non-Nintendo companies.
I mean, Monolith Soft says hello. Monolith Soft enters the chat.
Yeah, but that's not Nintendo.
They own Monolith Soft. What do you mean?
That's a second party company, babe.
They own it. What do you mean?
It's a second party company.
It's not second party if they own it, babe. Xenoblade is done in-house.
It's not core Nintendo.
What do you mean it's not core Nintendo? They made Zelda.
What I'm saying is that it doesn't go through the squeaky clean sanitization standards as in-house Nintendo.
Sure. I'll give you that much.
It's not R&D 1 Nintendo.
Fair.
But it's just... It feels like content without substance, this new Donkey Kong game. It feels like the equivalent of... It feels like the equivalent of putting on YouTube animations for your toddler. It's just content without substance, but in video game form. That's the impression that this new Donkey Kong game is giving me. And I fear.
See, that's the exact impression that Mario Odyssey gave me. That's the feeling Mario Odyssey gave me. I beat Mario Odyssey, and my takeaway was just like, I could have been doing anything else.
And that's kind of what Mario Odyssey gave me too. And I fear this is going to be that times 5.
And it's like, I understand Nintendo makes kids games, right? Right. I understand the mentality of, oh, well, kids are just going to play on their iPads and not actually play Nintendo games. What is it with Nintendo, as of late, just not giving a shit about actual story or character or anything? Like, all of the recent, like Mario Odyssey, even the Zelda games are just like, both Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild are so devoid of character or story that they just, everything Nintendo has been making, with the exception of Xenoblade, feels like it's just been completely devoid of any form of storytelling, character progression, or anything. It's like they're allergic to it. It's like, again, it's that fucking quote from that one Pokemon developer of kids just want to fucking spend all their time on their iPad, so they have to design all of their games for literally toddlers with no attention span. It feels like that. And I understand, like, I don't want Nintendo to become fucking Sony, where all of their games are these fucking heavy-handed cinematic story games. But, like, and I love Xenoblade. Like, Xenoblade's great. The Xenoblade is the opposite of what I'm complaining about right now. But, like...
Okay. Keep going.
Can we get, like, at least one other franchise that gives a shit about its story? Like, Pokemon is always bare bones. Mario never has a story. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom and fucking Echoes of Wisdom might as well have had no text boxes in the game at all. Fucking... This new Donkey Kong game looks like a whole wash of nothing.
Okay. I think I can finally just more succinctly put into words how I feel. This new Donkey Kong game looks like a video game equivalent of the Tack and the Power of Juju TV show.
Oh my god. You mean the Tack and the Power of Juju video games?
No. Or like the 2000s Rayman cartoon. It looks like one of those cheaply made CG TV cartoons.
No,
where they've got these whole sets, these whole models, and nothing happens in them. They're these weekly Saturday morning cartoons where there's that status quo that they always have to default to every episode, and so nothing really happens in the cartoon.
Yeah, like your Fanboy and Chum Chums, like your fucking, like that entire era of Nickelodeon, honestly, Planet Sheen, fucking all of that shit.
This feels like it was pulled straight from the clutches of that era, distilled into a video game. This looks like a video game made to have a tie-in cartoon.
Yes. Or a game based on the tie-in cartoon, like that one Tack and the Power of Juju game that got based on the TV show that was based on the game, and it was bad. I 100%, that's almost the exact same feeling that I was trying to get across when I was saying, like, those shitty TV shows based on much more serious properties made for, like, properties made for adults turned into kid TV shows. Like imagine if The fucking Fly, I'm fairly certain The Fly got a TV show for kids. That original movie is a body horror rated R movie. And then they made a kids show about it.
I don't think they actually did that.
I'm thinking of something. There was something where it was like, I think Terminator did it too, right? Where the fucking first Terminator was like rated M, and then they made a fucking kids TV show based on it.
I don't know.
But anyway, like that's a thing they used to do all the time. Like in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. They used to do that shit all the time where they would make this big cinematic thing in the movie theaters that was made for like adults, and then they would sell a fuckload of toys for kids based on that rated M fucking property. Like, here's some fucking Chronicles of Riddick fucking toys for your kid. Meanwhile, fucking Riddick is murdering people and showing off titties and shit on the movie. And it's like, yeah, I totally want my kids fucking watching this and playing with these toys. Sure. Or I mean, like, an easy one is like the Michael Bay Transformers movies. Like, those movies are like making jokes about titties and masturbation and fucking all this shit, and they expect it to sell toys to children. It worked. But that's besides the point. But yeah, that was the entirety of the Direct. In terms of anything else that came out, we've gotten some news. We've gotten some news after the fact of stuff that's been announced. So obviously the console itself will be $450 USD. It'll be much more in other territories because Canada's fucking crazy, and Canada, the console's going to be like $550, which is fucking insane. But the console is $450. The Pro Controller is $90. The base price for games, like that Donkey Kong game, is $65 digitally, $80 physically. Mario Kart is $50 if you buy the Switch 2 bundle with it, because the bundle is $500 instead of $450. So you're getting the game for $50. Or $80 digitally or $90 physically Again, this is all like American fucking USD. And then we got information on the game upgrade costs. All of the games that they showcased that have those upgrades. So Legends ZA, Metroid, Pokemon Legends ZA, fucking Zelda. All of those games that they showed off are going to be $80 digital games. So if you don't own Legends ZA, you don't own Metroid, you don't own Tears of the Kingdom, whatever it is, those are $80 digital games. Or $20 upgrades, as far as we've been made aware. Some of them may be more. We've heard that Tears, for whatever reason, is $30. Again, unacceptable and insane. The fact that if someone paid for Tears of the Kingdom last year for $70, plus tax, mind you, so more like $75, they now have to fork over $20 to $30 more to play the game on Switch 2 with the upgraded frame rate and resolution, which again is not something that actually cost any developers any money. That is basically as easy as flipping a light switch in the game's code. $20 to $30 right there. Or you can upgrade to the $50 a year expansion pass and get Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom upgrades for free, as long as you're a member.
With no promise of other games coming in the future.
Indeed.
Don't forget the maraschino cherry on top, babe.
Oh.
$450 and $500 bundles in the US. Those are the only options we have out in the West.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. How did I forget about that? Ren, please take it away.
If you are in Eastern territories, namely Japan, there is a third option for the console. A region-locked console that plays only the Japanese games. That roughly MSRPs, when converting, it roughly translates to $340 to $350 USD.
So in other words, they're giving preferential treatment to their own fucking region, selling a region-locked console for $100 cheaper.
Which means that the region locking is arbitrary. The region locking is something that is completely arbitrary and forced in there. They could flip a switch that would unregion lock it.
Not unlike using custom firmware on the 3DS. 3DSs are inherently region locked, but the moment you install custom firmware, it just flips the switch and turns that off.
But it also means that the Switch 2's actual value is $340, but they're charging an extra $100, $110 because they can.
Yes. The typical assumption is most games companies will sell their console at a loss in order to make more money off of the games. This is evidence showing that they are not doing that, or at the very least they're not doing it in the majority of the world. They're doing it in Japan maybe, where they might be taking a small loss on the $350 Japanese consoles, but then turning that around, everyone else has to pay a premium of $100+. That is absurd. That is inherently showing not just a favoritism to their region, to that region, by people are going to spend it like, oh, well, they're doing that so that way people don't import Switches from Japan because inevitably they're going to be so hard to find like PS5s or Switch 1s when those came out. Bullshit. They're giving their own people preferential treatment and a better cost and fucking over literally everyone else. And again, this kind of shit, from the price of the console to the accessories, we don't even know how much fucking Joy-Con sets cost. Those are probably going to be easily $100-$150. Jesus Christ, I didn't even think of that. Because like modern Joy-Cons, Switch 1 Joy-Cons are like $90 a pair. Fucking again, I'm going to say this like I said it earlier in the podcast. All of this shit sets a precedent. If Nintendo can get away with this, if people actually buy this shit up, if the Switch 2 ends up selling gangbusters and Mario Kart fucking World is the best-selling video game ever made and it outsells Mario Kart 8 and Grand Theft Auto 5 and every other game's both publisher, creator, every other major player in the industry is going to take notes, and this filth, this bullshittery, this enshittification will encroach on everything else. Publishers like EA, Warner Brothers, Ubisoft will see, well, if Nintendo can charge $90 for a shitty little racing game, why can't Assassin's Creed be $100? 2K will see the success of Mario Kart World and be like, well, if Mario Kart can do it, we have the single most profitable video game franchise on the planet. So surely all of these idiots will buy Grand Theft Auto 6 for $100? $200? Plus microtransactions? And paid updates? Oh. Gotta make those stockholders happy. This is, and as silly as it sounds, enshittification is an actual word now. It's in the fucking dictionary. And that is exactly what is happening here. Nintendo and Sony before them. Sony's the one who fucking started this bullshit. Are taking this medium, the medium of video games, this art form that myself and surely Ren and many others love and adore. We've spent our lives playing video games and enjoying this art form. And while there are some glimmers in the dark, namely things like my baby here, but ultimately the mass majority of this, it genuinely fills me with a dread that I've never quite felt to this extent before. It fills me with a, not existentialism, but like a, there's no other term, but just dread of things are just going to get worse. There's no, in terms of the AAA, in terms of the big, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, whatever, this is not going to get better if this shit keeps selling. We saw that consumers had the power to change things with the 3DS. The 3DS came out for an exorbitant $260, some shit like that. And very few people bought it. And Iwata came out and was like, all right, we're dropping the price down to $150 or whatever it was. And we're going to give people who bought it early a bunch of free shit. But we're going to fix this. I don't think that Nintendo is the Nintendo we have nowadays. I don't think they're going to just, oh, oopsie doodle, we're gonna reduce the price now. No. Like, the cat's out of the bag. Pandora's box is open. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the games industry anymore. I see a looming darkness, a threat to this art form that I love so much.
You see this inescapable sinkhole growing in size.
Yeah. I just see this looming black hole of greed and darkness and anti-consumerism, and I just see the video games industry turning into this mass of hatred and lust and greed. That's all it is anymore. It's not art. It's not passion. You are going to still see some of that in smaller scale, but even franchises like Monster Hunter, which have been hailed and known as like these fantastic games year over year. Every time they put out a new Monster Hunter game, those are some of the best games of that year. Monster Hunter Wilds, as good as it is on a gameplay level, runs like dog shit. It has minimal content. It's got a ton of features that are missing from it because they know that they can sell that to you later, or just sell you the game as is and hope that they'll, under the guise that they hope they'll fix it. It worked with Rise. Of course it'll work with Wilds. You see this shit happening with Sony when the PS5 was coming out, and they're like, well, all AAA games are going to be $70. You're going to pay $10 an upgrade to play your PS4 games on PS5. And now Nintendo, not even 5 years later, is taking that shit to the next level. Now games aren't just $70. Now they're $80. Now they're $90 even. When GTA 6 comes out, does that mean we're going to be paying $120 for a single game? That's, again, all without saying that the price for this console is insane. This is a $450 handheld. For that same price, you can get a Steam Deck or some of the Steam Deck competitors and play more games arguably better. You can emulate Switch games on the fucking Steam Deck right now, and they look and run better than the fucking Switch One without having to pay for upgrades.
I feel as if the AAA games industry is rapidly approaching a breaking point.
I've said this once or twice intermittently in the past. I genuinely think we are quickly approaching another video game crash, similar to that in the Atari 80s or 70s, whenever the fuck it was, the Atari. I genuinely think we're going to hit a level where games consoles are going to be so prohibitively expensive. Games are going to be so prohibitively expensive that it's going to hit a breaking point. These games are getting more expensive because the shareholders need more money. But if no one can afford these games, they're not going to make enough money, which means that they're going to want to raise the prices of games to make more money out of the people who are willing to buy them. And then it's just going to cause a downward spiral until nobody can buy games anymore. No games get developed because no fucking shareholder wants to pay money to develop these games that aren't going to sell. It's a constant spiral downwards that is going to lead to the end of the industry. And again, I've harped on it. We're still going to get indie games. We're still going to get your Deltarunes. We're still going to get our small little fun little indie games. But I don't think the entirety of the video games industry can subsist off of that. I have been the most negative about the video games industry during this podcast as I've ever been. But there are still AAA games that I like and I want to see more from. As much as Monster Hunter Wilds is a shit show performatively, I really like that game. I want to see more Monster Hunter. I want to see more Armored Core, more Elden Ring, more. There are bastions of goodness in the AAA space, but there are, for every one Elden Ring, for every one Bloodborne, for every one Armored Core, for every one Monster Hunter World, you get 50 Call of Duties and Mario Kart Worlds and Grand Theft Autos where they're not there to make a fun game. They're there to make a second job that siphons your first job's income. Games in the AAA sphere are not often designed to be fun. They're not often designed to be entertaining or to be freeing. They're meant to be manipulative and addictive and, more than anything, expensive and domineering over what little funds and money you have, especially in this economy right now. And we genuinely are hitting that breaking point. So when I say I think what Nintendo is doing here spells the death of the industry, of video games, of this art form, I'm not saying that the Switch is just, its sheer existence is going to put game developers out of business or it's going to stop games from being made. But I think it's a turning point that we're never going to be able to come back from. And I think that's the most poignant thing I can say on the matter. I think this is a point of no return for the industry. And if the Switch 2 does well, and if Mario Kart sells gangbusters, I fear for what comes next. Please, Ren, take it away.
I still think that there's yes, we are at a turning point. We are at a breaking point. I think that these next couple months are going to be critical. The sales numbers for the Switch 2 and its games are going to spell a very grim or bright future for games. Maybe bright is an overstatement, but either people are not going to wise up and they're going to follow this trend and it's going to set that new precedent, or people do wise up and they learn that this is unacceptable and that we as consumers still have the power to not give this the footing that the traction that it's trying to desperately claw from us. We have the power to not let this slide. The reason why boycotts exist. And it would be naive to say that that's what I expect to happen, but I do think that Nintendo's not going to see the sheer gangbuster numbers that they saw with the Switch 1. I think there is going to be this is a turning point and a radicalization point for many consumers that, you know what, $450 for a console is too steep. The games it runs are... The console itself is internally worse than the... Its hardware is worse than its competitors, and it's trying to sell games for 1.5 times the asking price of other modern AAA games. I don't think Nintendo's going to see the numbers that they are expecting to. Whether that deters them or not, only time can tell. In the meantime, I think it's best to start turning our attention to where passion is still prevalent. I think this is going to be the high time for indie games to shine. Games that are made with a genuine love, a genuine passion for the craft, a genuine passion for the gameplay. I think that is what's gonna... That's where we have to divert our attention to. Life's too short and depressing to get sucked into the thrall and trappings of this monetization hellscape of consumerism in video games.
I think now more than ever is a great opportunity to really go back and play what you enjoy. Don't get overhyped about new stuff on the horizon. Don't worry about, oh, I need to get that Switch 2 so I can play that new Donkey Kong so I can see that sexy fucking monkey. Look back at older games. Look back at games that fill you with joy. Be that playing games that you missed on an older system. Me and Ren were having a ton of fun playing Kid Icarus Uprising and multiplayer again after using Pretendo Network. Enjoy other hobbies like card games or collecting or TV or anything. Find something that makes you genuinely happy and not falling victim to what companies like Nintendo are trying to do. A lot of the modern video games industry revolves around, oh, I got to try that new game. I got to play that new thing. I got to do that new thing. I got to buy that new VR headset. I got to play that new Switch. I got to get new Mario Kart. Otherwise I'll miss out. It'll be there. Find a pre-owned Switch 2 years from now on your local pickup service of choice, be it OfferUp or Mercari or eBay or whatever. Play it then. You don't have to play this stuff now. Enjoy. Do what makes you happy in the moment, right now. Play games that respect your time, that respect your money. Fucking Deltarune is $25. Just saying. Comes out the same day as the Switch 2. I know what I'm going to be doing on Switch 2 release day, and it's not buying a Switch 2.
Support the games that you're truly passionate about. Support the creators that you're truly passionate about.
But yeah, I think ultimately that's the most poignant way to end it here is just thank you everyone for joining us today, for listening to me rant in particular, with Ren kind of tuning in where she can. Where I let her, I guess. I'm sorry, Ren.
I knew that going in. And I'm fine with that.
But yeah, just find something that you enjoy that respects both you and your time and your money. And have fun. Don't support this awful monetization, this awful enshittification of the games industry. And to those who still want to play it, to those who still are going to go out and buy a Switch 2, be wary of the consequences of your actions. And I think that's where we're going to end it there. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode or on my next stream. And until then,
I just want to give a huge birthday shout out to Tharsha Fire Emblem. Happy birthday, you fucking dark mage.
You know
and
what?
if it's your birthday too, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you in particular. And Tharja, but nobody cares about her. Take care. Happy birthday. And until we meet again, stay hydrated. Bye, guys.
Bye.